Nearly a year passed before I got my camera out again, and once more I was at Silverstone, this time for the British Grand Prix. Thus far, the 1969 season had seen Jackie Stewart and his Ken Tyrrell run Matra enjoying total domination. Only the world champion, Graham Hill's fifth win at Monaco, had interrupted a string of 4 Stewart victories. The 40-year-old Hill was now beginning to be overshadowed by his brilliant teammate Jochen Rindt, and it was he who set pole in the Gold Leaf Team Lotus Cosworth 49B. Stewart would start alongside him, his qualifying time just 0.4 of a second slower. And on the outside of the front row, the 1967 world champion, Denny Hulme, in the McLaren M7, also with Cosworth power. My interest in Formula One had been rekindled a little because some of the top teams had produced new 4-wheel drive cars. All of them, though, were placed towards the back of the grid. McLaren had entrusted their example, the M9, to Derek Bell, and Lotus had the 63, one for John Miles and another for Joe Bonnier, who had planned to drive his own 49B, but this had been bought back by Colin Chapman for the works team. After practice, Bonnier placed last on the grid in the 4-wheel drive car. Next to him was Jean-Pierre Beltoise in Matra's attempt at 4-wheel drive, the MS-84. Apart from the Ferrari 312s of Chris Amon and the Mexican Pedro Rodriguez, and the BRMs of John Surtees and Jackie Oliver, all 17 runners were powered by the now ubiquitous Cosworth V8. Cosworth themselves had built their own 4-wheel drive car, which Brian Redman was due to have driven, but Keith Duckworth had had second thoughts. Bruce McLaren would share the third row with Surtees and Rodriguez, whilst Pierce Courage was in the Brabham team with Belgian Jackie Ickx. Vic Elford had a third McLaren M7 and had qualified 11th, 2 places behind Rob's faithful driver, Joe Siffert. Could Seppi repeat, I wondered, his magnificent win at Brands Hatch in last year's British Grand Prix, or was the day of the private owner really gone? The cars rolled forward from the now customary dummy grid. The start itself would be out of my sight. As they came through Woodcote for the first time, Rindt led Stewart by a whisker. Surtees, who had made a terrific start in the new BRM P139, came into the pits at the end of the first lap with collapsed front suspension. As Rindt and Stewart scrapped for the lead, Siffert ran steadily in Rob's Lotus. Derek Bell spun out of his first Grand Prix in the 4-wheel drive McLaren and then staggered in to retire with a broken rear upright. After 6 laps, Stewart got the Matra through under braking for Stowe, and Rindt became the hunter rather than the hare. Hulme was third ahead of Rodriguez, Amon, Courage and Ickx. On lap 16, as the leaders lapped Jean-Pierre Beltoise, Rindt managed to regain the lead, and once again the roles were reversed. with Hume remaining some 23 seconds back in third, before the pace told on his McLaren, and he retired with a broken camshaft. The battle at the front waged on, and at just over half distance, the order read Rindt, Stewart, Ickx, McLaren, Hill, and Amon. In the tussle to pass the back markers, Rindt managed to draw out a 1.5 second advantage over his rival Stewart. Then Amon went out, his Ferrari's transmission completely destroyed, quickly followed by teammate Rodriguez with a blown engine. This let Joe Siffert into the points in 6th place, but he soon lost 4th gear and fell back. With less than 20 laps to go, Stewart suddenly appeared in the lead. Rindt had had a rear wing come loose and called at the pits to have it fixed, losing a total of 24 seconds. Then he started to run out of fuel and had to make a splash and dash fuel stop, and this dropped him to 4th. So Stewart took his 5th win in 6 races, and nobody could now deny him his first World Championship, with the season only half run. Behind him, Ickx finished 2nd for Brabham, but he would win at the Nürburgring 2 weeks later. Bruce McLaren finished 3rd, ahead of Rindt, Piers Courage, and Vic Elford, a creditable result in Colin Crabb's McLaren.